You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates. Sarah Gulseth is away today. She'll be back with us very soon. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu. Live Uncommon. Joining me today, the Reverend Dr. James Marriott. He is the Director for Music Arts and Dean of Chapel at Concordia Seminary in St. Louis. Dr. Marriott, thanks so much for being my guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Andy, it's always great to be with you. Thanks. Yeah.
We've got some, I love always chatting with you because it usually means we're going to talk about great music at Concordia Seminary. And there's a tradition at Concordia Seminary, a summer tradition, and that is the Carillon series. For our listeners not familiar with a Carillon, because maybe they haven't heard one, or if they've heard one, they may not even realize they've heard one before. What is a Carillon?
Yeah, so a Carillon is a unique instrument. A lot of churches will have bell towers that just maybe have singular bells or just a few bells that you would, pull on a rope and it would make the bell chime. So that's not exactly what's going on here. A carillon is a bigger instrument with a number of bells, and they're operated by, it's almost like a keyboard, like you'd be playing a piano or an organ, except you play the keys with your fist. So, you kind of bang on the keys with your fist, and it activates the clapper on the bell, and it makes the bell play. So it's a really cool, unique instrument, and there's not very many of them, even in North America. There's only 170 carillons in North America. So it's very unique that we have a carillon at Concordia Seminary.
It is very unique, and it's unique that you have a series too, a concert series, a Carillon concert series that folks in the seminary community get to enjoy. And now the Carillon has been around. The seminary's had a Carillon for a long time, right?
Since 1970. Yep, it was part of the original plan was to build the tower. It just took a little bit of time to get that built and to get the Carillon dedicated. But it was built in the late 60s. That was dedicated in 1970.
Well, any instrument that you get to play with fists sounds like a great way to relieve stress, too.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Now, I don't think, if I remember correctly, the Carillon is not one of your instruments that you typically play. Have you ever tried the Carillon before?
I actually haven't. Many organists do play the Carillon, and they double as carillonneurs. One of my teachers from the University of Florida, Laura Ellis, she is an organist and a carillonneur. And actually, we're hoping to have her come as part of our concert series this next year to do a joint concert, organ and carillon. But I have never played, and I've been up, of course, in our tower, and I've seen the carillon, but I've been too nervous to touch it, honestly, Andy. And but we do have carillonneurs on campus here that play at various times for call day and for commencement. And then we have a professional carillonneur from Springfield. His name is Carl Keldermans, and he is our kind of our primary carillonneur for our concert series. So not only do I not play the carillon, but they don't need me to play the carillon. And that's a very lovely place to be at, that we have other people that are very capable to do that.
So tell us about the upcoming concert series for the Carillon at Concordia Seminary.
Yeah, so Concordia Seminary takes very seriously the opportunity to offer concerts throughout the year for the St. Louis community. That idea really started under Dale Meyer when he was our president, and his vision was to offer concerts as a gift to the St. Louis community. And so we do that through the year, and the Carillon concert series is a big part of that. So they occur on Tuesday nights in June at 7 p.m., and, you can hear the Carillon throughout the surrounding community. I live on campus in the faculty houses, and I can hear it from my house. So it's a very, you can kind of sit anywhere on campus, but many people sit in the quad or out in Concordia Park, and they bring a picnic, and they get to listen to these Carillon concerts. And the music itself, there are some pieces that are specifically written for Carillon, and then there's other music, just like most classical music, music that would be adapted from other instruments and then played on the Carillon. So, the programs are often very eclectic. You'll hear, very popular composers, but you'll also hear new music that is, original to the Carillon, and sometimes even improvised by the Carillonneur themselves as performers.
So taking place on Tuesday nights, correct?
Tuesday
Here
nights, yep.
in the month of June is it 7 p.m.? Is that right?
7 p.m., that's correct.
And for folks not familiar with the Concordia Seminary campus, the Carillon is located in the towers. That's probably one of the highest points on campus. That's on is that the northeast side of campus?
I think that's right. I always have to think through my directions here, but yeah, the northeast side of campus is about right. But in many ways, it kind of feels like it's in the center of how our campus spreads out, because it's right next to Concordia Park, right across from the Luther statue. So yeah, it's very easy to find. I actually, whenever I'm flying, over St. Louis, I always try to peek out the window and see if I can see the tower, because it certainly is a big landmark here in St. Louis as well.
So how do folks enjoy the Carillon concerts at Concordia Seminary? Because it's an outdoor event, right?
Exactly. So when I have gone, often with the family, it's kind of a different concert experience, because you can go and bring a nice picnic. You sit on the lawn, or you can bring lawn chairs and sit out. So the seminary doesn't provide seating. People bring their own chairs or their own picnic blankets or whatever. And many people bring, really a nice spread. I am often very jealous at the food that people bring, and you can sit back and drink a nice glass of wine and listen to the concert. And they usually last about an hour. And often it's kind of the nice, cool part of the day. There's often shade in the quad, and certainly shade in the park with all of the trees. So there's many nice places to sit and to just relax and enjoy. And so it's a very different concert experience. Sometimes in our concert series, the music can be quite intense, and we might be in the chapel where it's a bit more formal. And here, the music is very serious still, and the performers are top notch. But the whole environment is really quite relaxed. You can walk around a little bit. You can interact with others in between pieces, and it really makes it a very inviting environment for people to come and to hear the Carillon performances.
So hoping for great weather on Tuesdays in June.
That's always the trick. Yes, you don't want it to be too hot or too humid, and you certainly don't want it to be storming. Our Carillonneurs are very brave sometimes, because if it's windy, boy, you can feel the wind up in the tower, and that can be very intimidating. I would not want to be up there performing in high wind. When they're up there, but they do a great job navigating the elements, and it's very rare that we have to cancel one of those concerts, even with them being outdoor venues.
Speaking of the tower and the Carillonneurs, I don't know if our listeners really have a good picture of where the Carillonneur sits to play the Carillon. Can you paint that picture for us?
Yeah, I sure can. So the instrument itself, our Carillon has 49 bells. So they're up in the tower and arranged in a particular way. Again, if you kind of think about looking at a pipe organ and the different pipes that you would see, it's at least a little bit similar to that in terms of the layout. And so the Carillonneur sits at a keyboard then, and there's all of these knobs that are in front of him, and he would then play with his fists to be able to activate the different bells. So he's kind of inside, but it's not enclosed, because there's open air in the tower through some windows. So it's not like he's hanging off the side of the building or anything like that, but it is still a bit precarious. But we take, when someone comes and takes a tour of the seminary campus, our prospective students and different traveling groups that come through, they can come and they can take a tour of Luther Tower and see the Carillon. And often someone will go with them who will let them play a bell or two at different times as well. So I would invite the listeners to come and to take a tour and to come see the Carillon for themselves, because we can arrange that for you.
And get to climb Luther Tower. That's fascinating, and see where the Carillon
It is not for the faint of heart, I will tell you that. It is a very steep staircase that is very narrow and very enclosed. So, but it's worth it when you get to the top. It's definitely a beautiful experience and just a wonderful view of Clayton and our surrounding community. This is a lovely area of St. Louis, and we feel very blessed to be here.
I have climbed it before, and I would agree that's an accurate description.
Yeah, it is. The first time I did it, I was not sure about it, but it's okay. So yeah.
Oh, very good. The Carillon series coming up on Tuesday nights in June at 7 p.m. at Concordia Seminary in St. Louis. And where can we find more information about this series or anything else that we might need to know?
Absolutely. So if you go to csl.edu, that's the website for Concordia Seminary, you can go to the music page, csl.edu/music, and you would be able to find information about the concert series. Our website is very easy to navigate. So even just in the search bar, if you typed in Carillon, you'd be able to find information about that.
And note to self, Carillon has 2 L's in it.
It has, yes, right. 1 R, 2 L's. I mess that up all the time. But Carillon has all sorts of letters that are very hard to, yeah, right. I think there's 2 N's, which is very odd, but it's good.
The Summer Carillon series at Concordia Seminary, Tuesday evenings during June at 7 p.m. Our guest today, the Reverend Dr. James Marriott, Director of Music Arts and Dean of Chapel at Concordia Seminary in St. Louis. Thanks so much for being our guest today, Dr. Marriott.
It's always a pleasure to be with you.
You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.